Dre Spec the Boxing here with another video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, show your boy some love. Hey, and don't forget, hit that bell notification, that way you can keep up to date on the latest content from my channel.
Get the big pay-per-view fights at Welter. Is there any chance we get to see you at 140 versus Ramirez or any of those guys?
140?
Yeah, back at
I'm going back down to 35.
Now listen, can he make 140?
Now listen. When I was at 140, everybody criticized me and said I was too big for 140. Like they criticized me and said I was too big for 135. Now if I was to go back down to 140, what would everybody say? I'm picking and bullying people, right? And you have it.
So 154.
Who? Can I make 140? Yeah, of course.
If you went up to 154, they wouldn't say that. Would that be something?
I'm going to 160 after this.
Who's that? Triple G? Triple G at 160?
Charlo?
No, Triple G at 168.
You want that Charlo?
I'm going to 160. Whoever.
Munguia.
So when you fight,
You think I'm playing? I'm going to 160.
We've been 160 in 2020. You gonna be at 160.
My next fight, I'm going to 160.
Who would you like to see? Do they have to have a belt, or do they just have to be a name?
Like I'll go to the champ. Gonna beat up Canelo. One in champ. Canelo at 178.
What's inspiring that decision? If you are being serious, what's inspiring that decision?
Just cause. When I beat this guy, they're gonna say, well, you gotta fight Canelo. Canelo at 178, so I might as well move up to 178, right?
Dre Spec the Boxing here with another video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to stay updated on the latest content as I add it. Man, I'm gonna try to add as much content as I can. I'm always busy, but I decided that I want to come out and because there's a lot of stuff that I'm very opinionated. So there's a lot of stuff that I see, I hear, other channels. You know, I'm always in the comment section of other channels. I'm always watching. Even if I'm not actually doing videos, I still stay updated on the sport. But and I'm always reading something, and I'm always, you know, and it's a lot of regurgitation. Man, everybody seems like they have the same ideas. Everybody is pointing the finger at everybody else. I swear YouTube has more politicking than the actual boxing right now. You know, politicking, as I stated to somebody else, is at an all-time high in the sport of boxing. Everybody has a stance and a hidden agenda, and it's not matching up with each other. So we don't get the fights that we really want to see. We keep on pointing the finger at the fighters as if though the fighters don't want to fight each other. Everybody's ducking everybody when that's not the case. It's at an all-time high because of money, greed, people wanting to protect their fighters, not put their fighters at risk with not getting those top fights until they have actually outlived, you know, their luster a lot of times. Like that shine that we have for certain fights, like an Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder, has been dragged so far out that some of the mystique and mystery that we had and the questions about the fight that we had has disappeared because we wanted to know, could Anthony Joshua handle up to the power? Now some of that mystique has been taken away by the Ruiz fight, and the Ruiz subsequently, you know, Ruiz knocking out Anthony Joshua. Now is suspected that Anthony Joshua probably can't handle top elite power, especially if he's already been knocked down by Klitschko, knocked down by another fighter. I'm going blank for a second. Dillian White. And also knocked down by Andy Ruiz. So now it's kind of starting to be trending as if though AJ can't handle power. But that's what happens when you drag these fights so far out. They lose the shine. Now I hear people saying that they don't even want to see the fight. I want to see the fight. I wanted to see the fight a year ago. I wanted to see a fight 2 years ago. You know, so that has still, the hardcore boxing fan, I have wanted to see the fight. The public wanted to see the fight. Now it's kind of losing some of this shine because we tend to throw a bad stamp on somebody as soon as they lose. If they lose a fight, we usually, one side usually folds on the other side and say, the guy's not good just because he lost the fight. Just because he lost the fight doesn't mean he's not a formidable opponent. Styles make fights. One guy can beat you and another guy just can't. Yeah, he probably never can. Look how much trouble Pacquiao had with Juan Manuel Marquez, but he's dominated so many other guys. It's Styles makes fights. And toughness, bravado, like it's a lot that goes into it. It becomes a rivalry sometimes. Some guys are determined not to lose to a certain guy, so they get up and train better for one fight versus another. But the video is getting off topic. Let me get back to the topic at hand, which is Terence Crawford saying in this video, as you heard before, that he would fight at 160 pounds at his next fight. What do you guys think that Terence Crawford is doing here? Do you think that he's very seriously considering fighting a champion at 160 pounds in his very next fight? Do you think that he's possibly clout chasing? Because there's no real promotion and real excitement for his upcoming fight this Saturday. Do you think that he was trying to prove a point? I'm going to say that he was trying to, in my gut feeling, I feel like in this video, he's really just trying to prove a point. You see the little smirk that he gives, that little nonchalant smirk. But what intrigued me is his consistent notion that he may be trying to prove that point by actually fighting a middleweight. And if so, then who? The name Charlo was thrown out there. He dismissed Triple G saying he's at 168. I'm not sure that that's true. I think Triple G is still fighting at 160 pounds. But I'll fact check that later. But Charlo, Andre, do you think that these are some of the fights that he's going to be seeking for his very next fight? I don't think so, and I don't think he should, because the thing of it is, the fact of the matter with this is he's still yet to fight a top 147 pounder to challenge himself at 147 pounds. The reason we have these questions and you getting frustrated because we say this, that, or the other, we discredit some of your opponents, is because they are lower tier opponents. Benavidez was a good opponent, but the fact of the matter was he had an injured leg. So we're going to discredit that some, which we shouldn't, but just idealizing, like when we see that the fighter had a disadvantage, and you can visually kind of know that fight could have been better or it could have went a different way, then we're going to discredit it some. It's human nature. We have to look at things as I do. I call it the eye test. If I see it doesn't look right, or visually from my perspective it doesn't come off as right, I'm going to have a different viewpoint on it. I'm going to be looking at that with a I guess I could say with a kind of asterisk, on that opponent. I know that it's an underlying situation behind that the guy had an injured leg, or that the guy couldn't, was not in shape, or something. If it's something, but at the end of the day, you do what you're supposed to do. You continue to do what you're supposed to do and make those wins, and win in dominant fashion or convincing fashion. And, you keep that pound for pound ranking. But that pound for pound ranking for me came from at 147. I thought that, at 140 pounds, I thought that he was the best in the world while he was at 140 when it comes to a pound for pound ranking. But I do not believe that Terence Crawford is the best at 147. I think that is actually Earl Spence at 147. But I believe that a pound for pound, Terence Crawford is better than Earl Spence pound for pound, and if that makes any sense to you, because pound for pound is the theoretical, hypothetical thinking of if those guys were at the same weight, right, and or at the same size, which Earl Spence is. If you've seen him, even in an interview where they met backstage, Earl Spence is actually very larger than Terence Crawford. He's a lot more filled out than Terence Crawford. So I think he's the bigger guy, and I think that Earl Spence would dominate it. Well, not dominate, but I believe that he would win versus Terence Crawford. I think, but Terence Crawford is a guy who could challenge Earl Spence. So I see it as being not necessarily a 50-50 fight. I kind of see it more 60-40-ish. You know, I think he's barking up the wrong tree with Earl Spence. I think he's the dog in that division, and I think that fight has to happen. But if that fight couldn't happen next and he goes up to 160, being Terence Bud Crawford, I believe that he'd be barking up the wrong tree as well. He could probably go up there and receive some damage from some of those bigger guys. This ain't the gym. This is not headgear. You're not sparring against these guys. They're going to actually be trying to take your fucking head off with, 10-ounce gloves or whatever size gloves they're wearing up there at 160. So, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you think this guy is really trying to fight at 160 pounds? Do you think that he's clout chasing? Do you think that he was just trying to prove a point in this little interview and he was just trying to make the point that whatever he does, people are going to criticize? I think it's that he was just trying to prove a point, but he would very much surprise me that the fight at 160. And if so, who would he be fighting? Who would he challenge himself against? That's all I got for you for now. This is Dre Spective, and I'm out. Dre Spective Boxing here with another video. As always, like, comment, subscribe, show your boy some love. Hey, and don't forget, hit that bell notification. That way you can keep up to date on the latest content from my channel.